Why do so many people wake up with stiff necks and aching shoulders? Is it just aging? Is it bad posture? Or is something far deeper happening inside your body? Use vivid daily imagery. A worker hunched over a laptop, someone scrolling endlessly on their phone, a driver stuck in traffic rubbing their neck, a person tossing in bed on the wrong pillow. Create suspense. What if the pain you feel isn't random, but your body's way of whispering a hidden truth? Most people don't realize that the way they sit, stand, or simply look at their phones can slowly shape the structure of their bodies. The neck and shoulders are not built to handle the constant downward tilt of the head. Yet, in our modern world, this position has become almost permanent. Think about it. When you lean forward to look at a screen, your head, which normally weighs about 10 to 12 pounds, suddenly places the force of 40 to 50 pounds on your spine. That's the weight of a small child pressing down on your neck every single time you bend forward. Over time, this unnatural angle pulls on the muscles in the back of your neck, overstretches tendons, and compresses the discs between your vertebrae. What begins as a minor stiffness after a day of work can gradually transform into chronic pain that feels almost impossible to shake. This is not just posture, it is physics acting against the body. The muscles of the neck and shoulders are finely tuned to keep the head balanced on the spine like a perfectly placed bowling ball on a narrow stick. In ideal alignment, the system works with ease, conserving energy and reducing strain. But when the head juts forward, the trapezius, levator scapulae, and cervical erector spinae are forced to remain in a constant state of contraction. They never get a true moment of rest. Imagine clenching your fist all day long. Eventually, it would cramp and ache. That is exactly what happens to your neck muscles as they fight gravity for hours at a time while you scroll on your phone or hunch over your laptop. The tension accumulates, fibers become inflamed, and lactic acid builds up in the tissue, producing the tight, burning ache so many people mistake as just normal. Posture science shows us that posture strain is not only mechanical, but also neurological. Nerves that branch from the cervical spine become irritated when the disc and joints are compressed by forward head posture. This irritation can cause tingling in the arms, weakness in the shoulders, or even headaches that feel like they are wrapping around the skull. Studies using MRI scans have revealed how long-term poor posture can lead to degenerative changes in the cervical discs, essentially wearing them out faster than time alone would. This is why someone in their 30s or 40s who spends a decade hunched over a screen can sometimes experience the spinal degeneration that used to be seen mostly in people much older. The body is aging under pressure that was never meant to exist. Beyond the spine and nerves, posture directly impacts circulation. When the chest caves inward and the shoulders round forward, blood flow to the muscles is restricted. Less oxygen reaches the tissues, and waste products like carbon dioxide and lactic acid linger, intensifying the feeling of heaviness and soreness. This lack of circulation explains why rubbing your neck feels good temporarily. It stimulates blood flow, but the relief doesn't last because the root cause, the forward slump, hasn't been corrected. Researchers have shown that even slight improvements in posture can enhance oxygen delivery to muscles and reduce fatigue, proving that pain is not inevitable, but reversible with awareness and consistent effort. The modern office, car, and phone have created an environment where bad posture is almost encouraged. Ergonomic studies show that most people naturally drift into slouching within 20 minutes of sitting. The spine begins to curve, shoulders collapse, and the head inches forward like a turtle stretching from its shell. This is why physical therapists call sitting the new smoking. It silently destroys alignment and health in ways people don't recognize until the pain becomes unbearable. The issue isn't just cosmetic or about appearance, it is a biological chain reaction. Postural strain alters muscle balance, which then disrupts nerve communication, which then changes blood flow, which then accelerates wear and tear. It is a domino effect, and the longer it continues, the harder it is to stop. But perhaps the most striking scientific revelation is how posture even influences the brain. Forward head posture has been linked to reduced lung capacity because slouching compresses the rib cage and diaphragm. When your lungs can expand fully, less oxygen reaches the brain, leading to fatigue, poor concentration, and even mood changes. That constant tiredness many people feel at their desk is not always about caffeine or sleep. It is often the silent suffocation of poor posture. In other words, the way you hold your body can directly shape the way your mind functions. A stiff neck is not just a local issue, it is part of a system wide imbalance. Think about the daily rituals we rarely question: checking a phone dozens of times, sitting through long commutes, leaning into a laptop late into the night. These micro habits accumulate into macro damage. Every degree of forward tilt adds weight to the neck, and every extra hour compounds the strain. Studies estimate that the average person now spends nearly 6 to 8 hours a day on screens. That means for a third of the day, the cervical spine is under unnatural pressure. The body can adapt to many things, but it cannot escape the laws of biomechanics. Sooner or later, the muscles cry out in pain and the shoulders feel like they're carrying invisible weights. And yet, this problem is not unsolvable. Science confirms that when posture is restored, circulation improves, nerves calm, and muscles return to balance. People often believe their pain is permanent, but the body has an extraordinary ability to heal once the source of strain is removed. Even simple changes, raising a screen to eye level, taking breaks to stretch, adjusting a chair to support the spine, can reverse years of tension. The key is understanding that pain is not random or meaningless. It is the body's intelligent alarm system warning you that something is misaligned. Listening to that alarm and responding with awareness is the first step to reclaiming not just comfort, but health and vitality. Most people think of neck and shoulder pain as purely mechanical, caused by posture or physical strain, but what many overlook is the powerful role of inflammation in amplifying that discomfort. Inflammation is the body's natural defense system. It rushes to heal injuries and fight off invaders. But when it lingers in the wrong place or is fueled by the wrong triggers, it becomes like a fire that never fully goes out, constantly smoldering beneath the surface. In the muscles and joints of the neck and shoulders, this persistent flame can transform what might have been temporary tightness into an ongoing cycle of pain. The stiffness you feel in the morning, the throbbing ache after a long day, or the soreness that won't quite disappear often has less to do with the simple act of sitting and more to do with the invisible chemistry inside your body. Science has revealed that certain foods and lifestyle habits act like gasoline on this fire. Diets heavy in refined sugars, processed oils, fried foods, and excess red meat increase levels of pro inflammatory molecules like cytokines and C reactive protein. These chemicals don't just circulate in the blood, they infiltrate muscle tissue, irritate nerves, and make joints more sensitive to even the slightest strain. And this is why two people can sit at the same desk for the same number of hours, yet one experiences severe pain while the other does not. The difference often lies in the internal environment, the biochemistry of inflammation that either calms the body or keeps it in a state of constant irritation. Chronic low grade inflammation is not just a response to food, it is also tied to stress, poor sleep, and lack of physical activity. When cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, stays elevated for too long, it changes the way the immune system behaves. Instead of switching on briefly to heal, it becomes hyperactive and misdirected, attacking healthy tissues in subtle ways. The muscles of the neck and shoulders are among the first to feel this because they are already prone to tension and overuse. Add a layer of inflammatory chemicals to that tension, and the result is amplified pain that feels deeper, sharper, and longer lasting than it should. Inflammation doesn't just magnify pain, it rewires the pain pathways, teaching nerves to overreact to even small stimuli. That's why someone under chronic stress or eating an inflammatory diet may find their neck flares up after the smallest trigger, like a single night of poor sleep or a minor posture slip. There is also a fascinating connection between the gut and the neck and shoulder region. The gut houses trillions of microbes that regulate inflammation throughout the body. When that delicate ecosystem is disrupted by processed foods, antibiotics, or chronic stress, the gut lining becomes more permeable. Scientists call this leaky gut, a condition where toxins and undigested particles seep into the bloodstream and ignite widespread inflammation. These circulating inflammatory molecules don't stay in the gut. They travel everywhere, including the muscles and joints of the upper body. It means that the burrito, soda, or late night fast food you eat doesn't just affect your stomach. It can literally decide how your neck and shoulders will feel the next morning. On the other hand, anti-inflammatory foods and habits act like firefighters. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish, nuts, and seeds reduce inflammatory cytokines. Brightly colored fruits and vegetables, rich in antioxidants, neutralize free radicals that damage tissues. Green tea contains catechins that lower inflammatory markers, and turmeric's curcumin compound has been shown in countless studies to calm inflammation in both joints and muscles. Um, Even hydration plays a role. When the body is dehydrated, inflammatory processes become exaggerated, and muscle tissue is more prone to micro tears and pain. The simple act of drinking enough water is often underestimated in how much it can cool the fire of inflammation burning within the body. What's crucial to understand is that inflammation is not always visible. Unlike a swollen ankle or a cut that turns red, the inflammation inside your muscles and joints is often silent until it has already caused damage. Many people live in a constant state of low-grade inflammation without realizing it, and they interpret their chronic pain as bad luck, aging, or stress. But beneath those explanations lies a deeper truth. Pain is often a reflection of what we fuel ourselves with. Every meal is either feeding the fire or extinguishing it. Every night of sleep either resets the immune system or pushes it further into overdrive. Every choice adds up, shaping the chemical environment in which your muscles and nerves must operate. But research continues to show us is that inflammation is not just a side effect of pain, it is often the root amplifier. A strained neck muscle on its own might heal quickly, but when layered with chronic inflammation, recovery stalls and pain lingers far beyond its expected timeline. This is why two people with similar injuries can have such different healing experiences. The one with lower inflammation recovers, while the one with persistent inflammation feels trapped in a cycle of recurring pain. It is not just about muscles and bones, it is about the entire immune system and how it interacts with the daily choices we make. Poor circulation is one of the most underestimated yet powerful drivers of neck and shoulder pain. Most people think blood flow is only important for the heart, but every muscle fiber, every nerve ending, and every joint in the body depends on a steady stream of oxygen-rich blood to function and repair itself. When that flow is restricted, tissues begin to suffocate at a microscopic level. The result is not just stiffness, but a deep, nagging pain that feels like it lives inside the muscle in the neck and shoulder region, where so many blood vessels weave between tight muscles and compressed joints. Even slight reductions in circulation can create a cascade of discomfort that builds over time. The neck is a highway of arteries and veins carrying blood between the brain and the rest of the body. When posture collapses forward or shoulders hunch, these delicate channels can become partially compressed. It's like bending a garden hose. Water still flows, but the pressure is reduced. In biological terms, less blood reaching the tissues means fewer nutrients and less oxygen, while waste products such as carbon dioxide and lactic acid accumulate. That's why sitting for long hours can make your shoulders feel heavy and your neck feel tight. The muscles are literally drowning in their own waste because circulation has slowed to a crawl. When science has shown that sedentary lifestyles are directly linked to microcirculation problems, when you sit for extended periods without moving, the small capillaries that feed your muscles begin to shut down. They are designed to open when muscles contract and close when they rest. But in chronic stillness, too many of them close, starving tissues of oxygen. Studies using Doppler ultrasound imaging have revealed how blood flow in the neck and shoulder muscles drops significantly after only 30 minutes of immobility. Add to this the common forward head posture of phone or laptop use, and the problem is magnified. Muscles locked in contraction squeeze the blood vessels within them, creating a vicious cycle of tension and starvation. Another overlooked factor is how circulation is influenced by stress and breathing. Shallow breathing, which is common when people are anxious or hunched forward, reduces the natural pumping effect of the diaphragm. This pumping motion normally assists in driving blood and lymph fluid through the upper body. Without it, circulation slows further and waste lingers in the tissues. It is no coincidence that many people experience both neck tightness and shallow breathing together. They are interconnected systems breaking down at the same time. Poor circulation feeds muscle tension, and tension in turn restricts circulation, locking people in an invisible loop of pain. The role of hydration also cannot be ignored. Blood is largely made of water, and when dehydration sets in, blood becomes thicker and less efficient at moving through small vessels. This makes it harder for oxygen to reach the delicate fibers of the trapezius, deltoids, and cervical muscles. Even mild dehydration can reduce circulation enough to worsen pain, yet most people overlook it, assuming a glass of water now and then is enough. In reality, underhydrated muscles behave like dried sponges. They lose elasticity, resist circulation, and become more prone to micro tears that ignite pain signals. Poor circulation also affects the nerves that pass through the neck and shoulders. Nerves rely on blood vessels to supply them with nutrients and remove metabolic waste. When circulation falters, nerves become hypersensitive, misfiring pain signals at the slightest provocation. This is why a person with poor circulation may feel sharper or more persistent pain than someone with healthy blood flow, even if both experience the same physical strain. It is not the severity of the injury, but the health of the microcirculation that often determines how painful and long lasting the problem becomes. What is striking is how quickly circulation can improve with simple interventions. Stretching, light movement, or even a short walk has been shown to boost blood flow dramatically in muscles that were previously starved of oxygen. Foods rich in flavonoids such as berries, citrus, and dark chocolate have been proven to enhance microvascular function. Omega-3 fatty acids help blood vessels stay flexible, reducing the risk of constriction, while compounds like nitric oxide from leafy greens and beets act like natural dilators, opening vessels and allowing more blood to reach the tissues. These aren't abstract ideas, they are direct science-backed ways to unlock the flow of life into areas that have been stiff and aching for years. Circulation is not just about comfort, it is about renewal. Muscles bathed in oxygen and nutrients recover faster, resist fatigue, and remain supple instead of rigid. When you restore blood flow to the neck and shoulders, you are not just easing pain, you are giving those tissues the tools they need to heal themselves. This is why people often feel lighter, more energized, and even mentally clearer after exercise or stretching. The brain itself receives better blood supply, which explains why circulation problems in the neck can sometimes cause dizziness or headaches. Neck and shoulder pain, then, is often a reflection of a deeper truth. The river of life that is blood flow has slowed, narrowed, or been obstructed. By learning how to free that flow through posture, movement, breathing, hydration, and diet, you give your body the chance to reset and restore. Pain does not have to be the language of your muscles. Sometimes it is simply the cry of tissues asking for more oxygen, more circulation, more life. Most people underestimate just how much their nightly habits shape the health of their neck and shoulders. We tend to think of sleep as a time when the body shuts off and forgets about the day, but in reality, it is during those hours that the body either heals or suffers depending on the conditions we create for it. The way you position your head, the type of pillow you use, even the firmness of your mattress, all of these choices quietly influence the angles at which your spine rests for 6 to 8 hours at a time. That means that one third of your life is spent either supporting or straining your neck, and the cumulative effect can be enormous. What feels like a stiff neck in the morning may not be the result of what you did yesterday, but rather what you have been doing night after night for years. The neck is designed to maintain its natural curve while you sleep, a gentle arc that keeps the vertebrae aligned and the muscles relaxed. But when the pillow is too high, it forces the head forward, exaggerating the curve and stretching the muscles and ligaments at the back of the neck. When the pillow is too low, the head falls backward, compressing the cervical joints and straining the front of the neck. Both scenarios create micro injuries that build up over time. Scientific studies using pressure mapping technology have shown that poor pillow height can increase strain on cervical muscles by as much as 30%, which explains why so many people wake up with stiffness that lingers throughout the day. Sleep position adds another layer to this equation. Stomach sleeping, though common, is one of the most damaging postures for the neck. To breathe in that position, the head must be twisted to one side for hours, creating a sustained torque that no muscle or joint is designed to withstand. Over time, this habit can lead not only to muscle pain, but also to disc degeneration and nerve irritation. Side sleeping, while generally healthier, can also cause problems if the pillow doesn't fully support the head, allowing it to tilt downward and strain one side of the neck. Even back sleeping, considered the most neutral, can become harmful if the pillow pushes the head too far forward or doesn't support the natural curve at all. The message is clear. The body remembers every angle you force it into, especially when it has to hold that angle for hours without movement. Another overlooked factor is how the quality of sleep itself interacts with pain. Deep, restorative sleep is the time when the body repairs tissues, reduces inflammation, and resets muscle tone. But when people toss and turn because of poor pillow or mattress support, they spend less time in this critical phase. Research has shown that sleep deprivation amplifies pain perception, making existing aches feel more intense and lowering the threshold at which discomfort is triggered. In other words, the wrong sleep setup not only creates physical strain, but also magnifies how the brain interprets that strain, locking people in a cycle of poor rest and worsening pain. Temperature, too, can quietly shape the experience of neck and shoulder health during sleep. A room that is too cold can cause muscles to contract involuntarily, especially in the sensitive areas of the upper body. A room that is too warm can trigger restless sleep and sweating, leading to dehydration that makes muscles more vulnerable to stiffness. Even the materials inside the pillow matter. Old pillows accumulate dust mites and allergens that can trigger inflammatory responses in the body, which in turn aggravate existing pain. This is why doctors and sleep specialists recommend replacing pillows every 1 to 2 years, not just for hygiene, but for musculoskeletal health. Circulation during sleep is another piece of the puzzle. Certain positions, particularly when the arm is tucked under the head or body, can compress blood vessels and reduce oxygen flow to the shoulders and neck. This explains the numbness, tingling, or dead arm sensation many people wake up with in the middle of the night. Over time, this restriction of circulation can weaken muscles and irritate nerves, contributing to the chronic tightness people carry with them throughout the day. The hopeful truth is that small adjustments can make a massive difference. A pillow that supports the natural curve of the neck, a mattress that balances firmness with cushioning, and a sleep position that keeps the spine aligned can reduce strain almost immediately. Scientists studying ergonomic pillows have found that people using them report significantly less morning pain and better overall sleep quality within weeks. Adding routines like gentle stretching before bed, staying hydrated, and ensuring a dark, cool sleep environment further enhance the body's ability to restore itself during the night. What this reveals is that sleep is not a passive state where nothing matters. It is one of the most decisive factors in whether your neck and shoulders heal from the stress of the day or accumulate more damage. Every hour you spend in misalignment is like holding a static stretch that no muscle can endure without consequences. Every night of poor positioning compounds into years of strain. But when you bring awareness to how you rest, you allow your body to use those hours as they were meant to be used for recovery, renewal, and restoration. Neck and shoulder pain is not just an inconvenience, it is a message. Your body speaking a language most people ignore. Each moment of stiffness, every pang of soreness, is a signal pointing you towards something deeper, something that deserves attention. For too long, people have been told that pain is simply a side effect of aging, that it is normal to wake up stiff, or that it's just part of sitting at a desk all day. But the truth revealed by science tells a different story. Pain is not a random punishment, it is the body's warning system, its way of saying that posture, stress, inflammation, circulation, or sleep habits have fallen out of alignment with how the body was designed to function. When we view pain this way, not as an enemy but as a messenger, it transforms from something we fear into something that can guide us toward healing. Think of how each root cause we explored is connected like threads in a larger web. Posture is not only about how you sit or stand, it determines the pressure on your spine, the balance of your muscles, and even how oxygen flows to your brain. Stress is not confined to the mind. It tightens the shoulders, raises cortisol, and locks pain into the body like a clenched fist. Inflammation is not just about what you eat, it is the fuel that keeps soreness burning long after the physical strain should have ended. Circulation is not only about the heart, it is the lifeline of every cell, and when restricted, the muscles of your neck and shoulders suffocate silently. And sleep is not just rest, it is the nightly rehearsal where either healing or damage takes place, depending on the choices you make. Each of these factors alone can cause pain, but together they create a storm that keeps people trapped in cycles of discomfort. The empowering reality is that every single one of these causes can be influenced by daily decisions. Pain is not inevitable, it is not a life sentence. Small shifts create powerful change. Raising your screen to eye level relieves decades of forward head strain. Learning to breathe deeply and release stress interrupts the cycle of tension before it hardens into knots. Choosing foods that fight inflammation, rich in antioxidants and omega 3s, gives your body the chemistry it needs to repair instead of inflame. Drinking more water, moving more often, and eating circulation boosting foods like greens and beets open the rivers of oxygen that wash away stiffness. And choosing the right pillow, honoring your body's alignment, and giving yourself the gift of restorative sleep transforms the night into your greatest healer instead of your hidden enemy. These are not massive, unreachable changes. They are small, deliberate choices repeated consistently, choices that anyone can make no matter where they are starting from. Imagine the ripple effect. A single improvement in posture not only eases your neck, but increases blood flow to your brain, sharpening your focus. One shift in diet reduces inflammation, which calms pain and also strengthens your immunity. One night of better sleep relaxes your shoulders and enhances your mood and energy the next day. Healing is never isolated, it spreads, multiplies, and creates momentum. That is why, when you address the real causes of neck and shoulder pain, you are not just treating one area, you are upgrading your entire health. There is a kind of freedom waiting on the other side of awareness, a life where you no longer wake up dreading the ache or adjusting your day around discomfort. Science shows us that the body is incredibly resilient. Even years of damage can be reversed when given the right environment to heal. Pain does not have to define your story. It is not proof of weakness. It is proof that your body is alive, responsive, and asking for change. But the question is not whether healing is possible. It is whether you are willing to listen, to experiment, and to take back the control that pain has stolen. The real cause of neck and shoulder pain is not just posture, stress, inflammation, circulation, or sleep alone. It is the belief that pain is something we must accept, that we are powerless against it. But once you see the truth, Once you understand that every ache is a clue, every stiffness is a message, you realize the power has always been in your hands. Your body has been speaking. The only question left is, are you ready to respond?